Look at the center console of any vehicle launched this decade. The cabin is a curated environment of glass and light. The ambient glow and seamless promises are engineered to make the interior feel personal and responsive to your needs. But quietly, it is also the most prolific data collection device most people will ever own. This environment feels luxurious, and that luxury is effective. It lowers your defenses, obscuring the constant, aggressive data harvesting happening directly beneath the glass. In September 2023, the Mozilla Foundation reviewed 25 car brands. They concluded that cars are the absolute worst product category they have ever studied for privacy. This chart shows exactly how bad the results were. Every single brand earned a warning label, and 84% reserve the right to share or sell the information they gather. The regulators have now put hard numbers to those policies. In January 2026, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission finalized an order against General Motors and its OnStar division. Millions of vehicles were pulling precise geolocation and driving behavior data. In some cases, this extraction happened as often as every 3 seconds. GM then sold that information onward to consumer reporting agencies, principally LexisNexis Risk Solutions. Those agencies fed the data to insurers, who used the hidden profiles to quietly raise premiums or outright deny coverage. The abstract concept of data sharing translates directly into financial penalties. A buyer pays for a premium vehicle, only to have their daily commute monetized against them. The legal settlements against carmakers highlight a failure of corporate compliance. However, the roots of this crisis are found in the user interface itself. California's privacy regulator recently fined American Honda over its consent flows, proving that hidden tracking is a systemic industry issue rather than an isolated legal error. The legal consent to track you is technically present in these vehicles. The issue is that the interface is engineered to make it practically invisible. When permissions are intentionally buried deep in submenus where no human actually reads them, that is a dark pattern. Relying on those patterns transforms a digital tool into a hostile trap. This happens long before lawyers get involved. It is a failure of industrial design. This animated recreation shows the typical pathway to opt out. Someone deliberately laid out the toggle 3 menus deep. Someone wrote the phrase, "improve your experience," instead of, "we sell your location." And most importantly, someone chose to make the default state active. Every one of those steps was an authored decision made at a desk. These outcomes occur when a feature roadmap treats data collection as a free financial upside. Under the pressure to ship connected services, the designer prioritizes the roadmap over the driver's privacy. The surveillance state within the cabin is the result of a design process that fails to ask the most basic user question: who sees this and what do they do with it? That question needs to be forced in the concept phase, long before a single line of consent copy gets written. This process is called design intelligence. It uses the analytical power of AI to interrogate digital choices while they are still cheap to change. Data architecture is a design decision. It requires the exact same rigor as mapping a fascia radius or styling a physical seam line. The automotive industry already knows how to do this. Decades ago, brands learned to engineer and test for physical safety. They subject vehicles to immense destructive forces, deliberately destroying prototypes in crash tests to ensure the driver remains protected. Just as a frame is tested to prevent a physical collapse, data architecture can be interrogated to prevent a breach of trust. Applying design intelligence allows a brand to identify and fix hostile data flows before they ever reach the customer. What emerges from that testing is a trust-honest cabin. It minimizes collection by default, gathering only what the car strictly needs to drive, and keeping nothing speculative stored for future products. The user experience is overhauled. Consent surfaces as a first-class interface element, legible in seconds, reversible in a single tap, and never pre-checked. The absence of a data broker becomes a feature worth styling around, the exact way a brand once proudly highlighted a visible seatbelt. Brands that get this right won't market it as a legal compliance measure. They'll market it as genuine respect for the person behind the wheel. The ones that fail are already discovering the cost in settlements. But worse is the slow erosion of brand loyalty. A buyer who learns their car sold them out does not view that as a connected service. They feel a sticky, lasting betrayal. The connected cabin is not going away, and it can be genuinely beneficial. But as cars harvest more data,
the design team must decide whether that intelligence serves the driver or the data broker.